On Country KDY, we're always, and when I say always, I mean always, happy to talk to artists here on the radio, and especially new artists, because they're the ones that are out there hitting the bricks, they're out there working hard and trying to get exposure for the work that they do, and we're very happy to talk with one of those artists today. His name's Dave Wilbert, and he's got a wonderful new song, which you'll be hearing more of here on KDY, called Country Cruise. Great song, and we're happy to have Dave Wilbert on the radio with us here today. And Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and where your country music originates and what you are building on for a country career.
Thank you so much, Harlin, for having me on. It's a real honor. I really do appreciate it. My name is Dave Wilbert. I'm a new guy in the country music genre, or industry, if you will. And but I've been playing music for a long, long time, just about as long as I can remember. And always been passionate about country music. You know, my major influences go back to Merle Haggard and Dwight Yoakam, and everybody from Garth Brooks to George Strait and several other genres as well, but it's been a lifelong dream of mine to actually make it to radio, and been pursuing it for quite some time, and finally kind of broke through. And it's to the thanks to people like you that are giving me a chance to do that. As far as I've been playing and as much as I can, given the environment that we're living in today, and just going out and trying to build up a fan base and play music wherever I can, and I try to play the best country music that I can either write or have from other great songwriters. And I want music that speaks to everybody. But I think my major influences have been the country music that probably in the '90s. That style is probably more closely relatable to me today.
I would ask you, Dave, do you write any of your music? And, a lot of this music business, it's just trying to find your place and hitting the bricks and playing whenever and wherever you can. But how would you describe, I think you just did to a degree, your style or the type of music that you lean toward? Because when you hear Country Cruise, I can kind of hear that 90s influence in what you guys do.
Sure. To answer your first question, yes, I am a singer-songwriter. I do write. I wouldn't call myself a prolific writer. There's certainly, Nashville's full of tremendous talent, and I was blessed to have been exposed to some of the best writers in town. And I have a policy that's, best song wins, whether I wrote it or you wrote it or whoever wrote it. I did not write Country Cruise. It was written by two big-time hit songwriters here in Nashville. That said, my influences go to like singer-songwriters like, James Taylor, even Cat Stevens and guys like that. I love that intimate window that they let you look into in their soul. So singer-songwriter or being a songwriter is important to me. But the most important thing to me is the song. And a great song, it's not about pride. It's not about, hey, I wrote this, so I have to do this. It's a great song and you wrote it great. But in my opinion, the best song wins.
Dave, before we get any further along, let's tell people how they can find your music. That's a big deal anymore, especially for an independent artist. How can they find the single Country Cruise, or where can they find some of your other work?
So you certainly can find us on Facebook, Dave Wilbert Music, and also DaveWilbertMusic.com. All that information's out there. You can go to my YouTube channel. It's Dave Wilbert Music on YouTube. You'll see the video we shot for Country Cruise. You can also find us on your outlets online via Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, those traditional outlets. But most importantly, they can hear us on your station, Harlin, and that's what I'm talking about.
That's what we're talking. When I started in radio back in 1978, it would have been nearly impossible for an independent artist like you to really to get on the radio. At least today, we've got so many different outlets for people. If they're trying to find a new artist, they can find you on all these places that you just mentioned. And if something tickles their fancy, there's been plenty of artists that we hear on the radio right now. That Kane Brown's one that comes to mind immediately, but you have an outlet there that can really help in your career.
Absolutely. And those mediums to me are highly important. I still believe in country music. I still believe in country radio as really truly being the first, if you will. I think people hear music a lot of times passively while they're driving or working or whatever via your format. Whereas in these other formats, it takes an act, right? You have to actively go out and engage Pandora or Spotify or Apple, which is a challenge for an unknown entity like myself. When a person like you and or your station gives me this format, it does allow that to happen, and I'll be eternally grateful. And as you know, the country music industry is, you have your major label artists, and they take up a lot of bandwidth when it comes to playtime. But there are artists like myself out there that I think, if given the opportunity, we can certainly hold our own.
If you ever are passing through the West Plains area on a road trip to somewhere, we would certainly invite you. We used to have very often artists come in, especially new artists, come in and join us in the morning and play live on the radio. So if you're ever through our neck of the woods, you got a standing invitation to come in and play with us. Would you care about doing that at all?
You tell me when, and we'll be there. As soon as this world opens up, we're going to be out there playing. Like I said, wherever people will have us, and I would be honored to come out and play at your station for you guys and all that good stuff. It would be just fantastic. So you have my word that I will do it just as soon as I can, and as soon as we're able to actually be around each other again. Also, want to let you know, I will be doing some things. I will be putting some live stuff out on Facebook from time to time, just to kind of keep people engaged. What's going on, I will be doing a performance, kind of an acoustic performance next Thursday. It's not going to be a live thing on Facebook. It'll be something that we do in kind of in a studio, but we'll be putting some content out, if you will, just to keep people engaged until this thing opens up where we can really get back out there and start playing.
Fantastic. All right, Dave, one more time, we'll give people a heads up on, they like country cruise and like what they hear. Again, the easiest way to find your music is how?
The easiest way to find music is to go to DaveWilbertMusic.com or go to Dave Wilbert Music on Facebook.
Okay, and I would advise people, if you like country music, you'll love this guy. He's got a really good, fresh sound that pays a little bit of homage to the country music that so many of us really enjoy, and it's a great song. We think people will enjoy hearing it here on the radio, and we'll be getting some feedback from folks about that. Dave Wilbert, thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future, and all the best of luck to you.
Thank you, Harlan. I really appreciate it. Y'all listen in to Harlan. He's a good man.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good day today.